yappa yappa.
Yappa yappa yappa.
Ba 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 banana potato na. And you gotta get into it. Na no na 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 no na na banana na.
Welcome to the Unfiltered 20's. Today we have a special guest. We have Boston Cable on, which is actually Latia's brother.
Unfortunately.
Yes, what's that like? Is that great for you two? You guys?
It's a bit of a weird relationship. Like when I was younger, I used to get, are you Latia's brother? Quite a bit. And now I kind of converted to Latia being, are you Boston's sister? Ooh. Yeah, that kind of converted when I was about 13.
That's because you went to the school with the people I would hang out with, though.
Yeah, but even when you went out and you just like saw some random dudes that played footy and they'll be like, oh, I'm Latia Cable. Oh, you're Boston's sister. Oh, shit. Yeah, Perth's a small place, if you didn't know.
Perth is a
We
small
talked about
place.
that last week, but genuinely.
Catch the other episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Such a small place.
Honestly, sometimes I would legit rock up and get, are you Chris Cable's daughter? And I said, whoa!
Chris Cable's daughter's a
That's a rough one. That's a rough
You
one.
can't really overcome that one. If you get the Chris Cable relationship, you can't be like, oh yeah, I'm chill by the way.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay, you're that guy. Yeah, I know the type. It's like, oh no.
You are put in that box.
Yeah, you can't get out of that one. I feel like if
box.
it's like, oh, you're Latia's brother, you're like, yeah, you're still your own person. But
Chris Cable's daughter.
That's a rough. I never really got Chris Cable's son, unless it was like at Balladura Footy Club or something.
Yeah.
That was the only times I got that one when I was like 10.
We had a pretty weird childhood though. Like I feel like we were a little bit left of centre kids. Like I feel like when we talk about, I said I feel like 3 times and I've already given myself the ick. But anyway,
Dick word.
when we were growing up, I think we had really fucking weird stories. Like I just remember when we got a little bit older and sharing those stories with people, I didn't realise that we were
kind
so
of weird stories?
Like Latia shitting her pants every second week.
That's
you
not
can't talk about that.
I feel like we can.
This is my podcast.
That's for another episode.
Anyway, stay
Catch that next week.
Next week, Unfiltered 20's.
It'll probably happen next week. Yeah, who knows? I think I'm
Might
due.
be on
I
podcast.
think I'm due.
You might shit yourself.
If you film these enough, I think eventually you'll get one where you shit yourself live.
Possibly.
Live on camera.
You may be blessed.
Episode 139. Tia shadow self.
Yeah, but no, there were some interesting stories. Ollie's about to drink the water there, mate.
Come on, man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we did have some interesting stories when we were kids. I mean, just like straight up weird.
We
shit.
had live imaginations. I would definitely say that. There were some live imaginations rolling around.
Yeah, I'd play some dress ups every now and then.
Oh, Boston would let me dress him up like a girl all the time.
Hey.
Like, he would let me put a bra on him, put mum's heels on him, do his makeup,
And I rock that shit. Smart ad.
And then he would pose in front of the mirror like a girl, you know, in 2010.
Rocking that shit.
When girls would like take mirror selfies and they had their like butt
ass
on the sink.
Yeah.
And he literally would take selfies
Okay, you're gonna have to find
for
those.
years.
You're gonna have to find those.
No.
Send them to me
Absolutely
I can put them up. So I can put them up there.
No,
That's
don't
great.
even make a look for those.
I'm searching.
I reckon I could find them, but no.
Well,
I do not give consent.
We found the photo of when I dressed up as you
Oh yeah, that's
the
a good
other
one.
day. But that was when we were a little bit older.
So much like you.
Yeah, when we were
so
little,
crazy.
we were like proper identical except for the hair.
Yeah.
Like there was probably like 2-3 years there where you just like couldn't distinguish us if you just like cut off the hair.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, as we got a bit
features.
older, I feel like my face got longer. Yours went a little rounder.
Round.
Yeah, like a little bit of a
Why are you
difference in it.
smiling?
Egg.
And I've got like the bigger
What?
lips and the more feminine
Excuse
features.
me. We didn't need to come at me like that.
You
We
knew this-
didn't
you knew
need
this was
to.
coming from the podcast.
And then I just like became the better looking sibling.
Oh,
I'm not doing
here we
this.
fucking
We are
go.
not doing this on
Here
this
we
pod.
fucking go.
All right, we are changing topics right now.
No,
We
that's
had
bullshit.
background
We're not
context.
finishing.
Let me give some background context on this one. Look, I firmly believe that I'm the better looking sibling.
He literally does because he's that cocky.
I do. Look, not even like from a cocky perspective. I genuinely do. But yeah, this was a close debate for like a couple of weeks there, and it was a pretty heated debate, and it lasted a long while.
It did.
And
We
there was
couldn't
no-
walk into the same room without giving more defense on the topic.
We would just meet new people and just kind of ask for their opinion on it. And
Yeah, and most people would say me. That is literally the verdict we got. But you know why? It's because of the cocky attitude. That's why people would genuinely just say me, and I know they would, just in spite of you.
just in spite of me, but that also insinuates that there's an added benefit to choosing you. So
Because I'm a nicer person.
yeah.
Whether you're the better looking or not, and like
So I
key
am.
emphasis on not, key emphasis on not,
Okay, how are we
I
gonna,
am the better sibling.
how are we going to put this to the polls? Because we can do this right now. We can
Yeah,
put it
put a
to,
poll
We
up.
can put it to Perth.
We put it on both of our stories,
We can
didn't we?
put
No, we didn't end up doing that. No. But if you've got like an unfiltered 20's like Instagram or something,
Yeah, we can definitely
put it
put
straight
that
up on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
down for that.
Okay.
Run it.
I'm gonna get my feelings hurt, but it's fine.
Well, now I feel like because like the way it was explained and because you're like, I'm gonna get my feelings hurt, you might actually win the poll. You're playing the sympathy game.
Playing the
For
sympathy
everyone out there
vote.
voting, I want your honest
It's
opinions.
all about
okay?
manipulation. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
All
you're playing
about-
like a couple levels deep here, but like for the surface level, this is what we're talking about here. We gotta have it as a genuine poll. There's got to be a vote for the nation. This is
Vote
who
for
you're
the
voting
nation.
for, your leader.
You
This is important. This will affect your life.
Yeah, so we will put it to whoever's
It's your
listening.
future. The future's
It
in
is.
your hands.
Oh well, it affects my future.
It affects
really.
my future. That's for fucking
100%.
sure.
Yeah, so
I
it's
would like to have this debate settled.
your
Actually, what's your language?
Trying to get
Anywho,
this thing monetized, right?
yeah, 100%.
what's monetize mean?
You make money from it, yeah.
Oh, can I not? We can swear and still make money.
If you want to get sponsors, no.
Yeah, we're gonna try and have to minimize that, but
Oh, that's gonna be a tough
gonna
gig.
be a tough gig for you. Anyway, we just yapped for about probably 5.
And we haven't
almost
even
10 minutes. We haven't
scratched
gone
the
into what we
surface of
wanted
what
to
we're
today.
talking about today.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boston, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and where you specialize in, and your position of expertise.
Yeah.
Expertise.
He loves this. He loves this stuff. And this is why we brought him on today, because we think he's an absolute gun at what he does.
Riley
Well, I do.
believes.
Okay? Absolute gun. And he definitely has a lot to say about it. So yeah, Boston, tell us about what you do.
So I work as a buyer's agent, and what I do is I basically just help people buy property, whether that's an investment property, a home to live in, first home, second, third, fourth, however they're upgrading. And I specialise in the inner north coastal, so all of your Scarborough, Doubleview, Wembley Downs, Woodlands areas. And the reason I specialise in those suburbs is because I'm able to have very good market knowledge in those pockets. And that's just why we do it in that way. Look, in our company, we've got people who specialise in different areas and different price points and different locations. Look, within those areas, there's different price points. There's units, so you can pick up for 400 to 500K. Then there's your villas you can pick up for 700 to 1.1 million. And then that steps up to your green titles that range anywhere from $1 million to 5.5 million was a bigger sale recently.
There's some big numbers, man. There's some big numbers.
Yeah, and Latia just burped, so you get an understanding of my upbringing and the sort of people that I was raised around.
So that's why he has to hustle, That's why he's playing with these big numbers, because he's got burpees to live with.
Excuse me,
Burpees?
have you smelt this man's ass?
No. Why would I
That'd be a
sniff
weird
his
thing to
butt,
sniff.
bro?
Actually,
The things
well,
that come out of it?
Have you sniffed his butt?
Of course she has.
That's
Yeah.
weird. That's weird. That's the weird relationship they got.
The things that come out of it,
Why are you sniffing the
That's
shit?
weird.
they're
man.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, before
Let him
this job, look,
yeah, what were you doing before? Like, how did you kind of get to where you are? Because I feel like those are big numbers for probably most people,
Yeah.
right? It is quite a privilege to be where you are, I reckon. But you've earned where you are today. So how did you kind of get to this point?
yeah, look, so it all started from, look, we can go right back to when I was,
We'll
when
get-
I came out the womb. No, we'll go to when I was...
He was ugly and fat as fuck.
Yeah, up until I was about 12 and I got ridiculously skinny
Yeah.
because I was self-conscious about my weight. Thank you very much.
How the turns tabled.
yeah, true. But
No.
no, so we'll start when I was, we'll just breeze over that one. But no, we'll start when I was 14 and yeah, look, I just wanted to make money. There wasn't really much access to money. We didn't really get pocket money.
No.
So, look, I had about $500. I was the most stingiest kid you ever meet.
Insane.
Insane.
I've heard some stories.
I would get $20 for running boundary, the footy, save it all, sit in a piggy bank, hide it underneath my shoebox and things like that. So I started out with probably $500 or $600, and I thought, how can I actually make some money? So started flipping sneakers actually. So would go out, buy retail sneakers, resell them, do it on Marketplace, all up until I was about 15, or yeah, it was probably 15. And then doing it on my own, went to sell 2 pairs of Off-Whites and a pair of Yeezys. And it was about 2.4 grand that I went to sell them for. Bloke came to the door, gave me a fake bank receipt. Took it on its merit. You know what I did before before he came? Tracked his IP address.
Ooh, okay.
Send that to the cops, and yeah, they ended up arresting them. Closed down a Facebook Marketplace burglary syndicate. It was over like 200 grand worth of stolen stuff they had in East Perth apartment.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that dragged out over 6 months. Eventually got my 2.4K paid out. Yep. From the government, and they had to pay it back, the people who stole it. So at that point, I was a little 15-year-old boy, and I was like, I'm not cut out for these streets. I'm not cut out for these tough streets.
Reality.
So from there, started a stock trading account under mum's name.
Oh yeah.
What is it even called? Like IRS? No, IRS, any Australian taxation people. Wasn't me. But yeah, started one under mum's name. So started trading stocks, and that was at the start of COVID basically. So yeah, got really lucky on timing with that, and I just bought the stocks that crashed the most, and that was your cruise ships, your airlines,
all your tourism travel,
all of your tourism, hotels, those sort of things. Bought them. And just held them. Just sat on them, and they all increased by 100% just over that time.
Wow.
And throughout that time, just started day trading, crypto, stocks, got lucky on AMC, GameStop, those sort of things. Made a bit of money, spun that up to, I had probably 4 grand when I finished the sneaker stuff. And then after the stocks and crypto, ended up with about 40. And then ended up graduating high school. I've really dragged out the story a fair bit.
That's okay.
That's right.
That's right.
Graduated high school.
We're getting there.
Yep. Graduated high school, did ATAR, got a scholarship offer to UWA to do engineering. Decided to defer it for a year, wanted to try out property, wanted to try out sales. And then, basically just use that 40K nest egg to support me throughout that journey. Moved over to Melbourne for a couple of months. Absolutely hated that.
In some dodgy hostel and got, 8 parking fines?
8 parking
Yeah,
fines.
because he kept parking in the spot where he wasn't allowed to park.
Holy
And he'd get a new one every day. And then he was like, I'm not paying them. That's fucking stupid. And mum was like, you need to pay your fines. You got them.
Yeah, well, mate, they gave me a hotel room that had no parking with it, but they gave me a car.
What?
So I was
The company he was working
but
for.
no parking spot for it.
It was in the middle of the city in Melbourne, so there's just nowhere to park.
Yeah.
So yeah, got pretty stitched up with that one. Absolutely hated Melbourne. Decided that wasn't for me. That was with a development company, pretty dodgy as well. So moved back over to Perth whilst I was on the plane. Rewrote my resume and applied to a few jobs. Following week, had an interview with Wow Homes, new home builder. Started working with them. Was with them for probably 12 months. Made 10 grand the entire time I was there. Tough gig. Sold a lot of properties, not a lot converted. And look, that was just a lack of education in the markets or understanding. Had to get burnt to learn a fair bit, but learned some really good. Learned some really good sales skills though, because to sell shit product, you need to be pretty good at sales. But yeah, look, after that, left there and started my own company with Blake, one of my good mates, and we were basically looking to flip properties, so buy just dumps, renovate them, flip them. Had Eastern States funding, all organised, showed them a few projects. They delayed approvals on finance for a month.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And look, in the Perth market, the way that was turning, a month was way too long. Chief's back. A month was way too long to wait for finance approval on any of these projects. So I started looking for Perth-based investors and got in touch with Lachlan Delahunty, who ended up giving me a job opportunity as a buyer's agent. So
Here we are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Here
how I've gotten to
today.
where I am, and that was 16 months ago.
Yeah, wow.
On the topic of Boston being a stingy person growing up, though, like with that 40K in his bank account, Mans would not give you a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Fair
Like,
enough.
would not buy lunch. Had girlfriends in these times, and you'd be like, take him on a date. He'd be like, no.
No.
I'm not spending a cent on this motherfucker.
That
Or like he
40K
would. It literally.
Barely scraped me through. That was probably 18 months, and I would have made 15 grand in 18 months.
Yeah, wow.
So that 55K has lasted me nearly 2 years.
Yeah, regardless, even growing up, Boston could have, like, I was the polar opposite. I would, like, take $5 out of mum and dad's, like, car in the morning to go and spend at the school canteen, and I would spend every last cent of it and come home with nothing. If I got $100 for my birthday, bet your ass I was going shopping that weekend. Like, I was like, turnaround was less than a week of money incoming and outgoing.
Oh, dear.
And Boston was like $3.
opposite.
That's going straight in the bank.
It's gone straight in the bank.
straight in the bank.
The NZ Super Saver for 1.9% interest.
Oh,
Yeah, here's some good things about that. Me and Tia might switch over to ANZ.
Yeah.
Me myself.
Not that great.
the ANZ Plus account's pretty good. I mean, I don't really know,
know, we're gonna
what
have
I'm
to do our
talking about,
research
but
on
the
that one,
Plus
but-
account is good
Yeah,
for
which flowing into
divvying
that
up your
topic.
favourites. Yeah.
High
Finances.
interest super savings accounts, not that great most of the time. So when you're comparing the interest rates you're getting, it doesn't really work out that well.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on
So,
that?
look, most people are trying to do the right things with their money, and a lot of people aren't actively trying to spend every single dollar that they get.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
She's
but-
evolved.
She's
Yeah,
evolved.
she's evolved. But look, most people are trying to make smart money decisions, and I think a lot of people just don't really know how to or what to do with it. And for me, like the biggest learning curve.
I just spat everywhere too.
Yeah, I don't think I
Continue.
can post this on my Instagram. hey.
Just
Not
run-
the whole
just run it
thing.
Yeah,
Just
Just
run
the
it back.
shorts.
yeah,
Just the shorts. Sorry.
yeah, just the
Continue.
shorts. Yeah, yeah. But
It's so bad, eh? So bad.
you kind of just like.
No,
she
she gotta
does it
just-
I
straight
like
into
to
them.
share.
Straight into
She brings the
mic.
mic closer.
It's always when you're trying to explain something.
I'm sorry. Continue. I was listening.
Oh, fuck, where was I?
People are trying to do the right thing with their
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
If you're trying to
High
explain
interest,
it, if you're
yeah.
trying to explain it to someone that's
Explain
you know,
it dumb level.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, look, the biggest learning curve that I've made, or the best way to think about your money is when you're so young and looking to make these right decisions, I try to treat every $10 that I have as $100 10 years from now. And that, look, mathematically is unlikely, but it is possible to invest your money well and compound your money into great returns down the line if you look at it on a longer term. That just closed. If you look at it on a longer term game plan instead of just narrow-mindedly looking at an interest savings account of 4%. If you're looking at it as how can I leverage this money into something else, and I'm all for taking outweighed risks when you're maybe not as wealthy in the start. Look, even for myself, I take pretty outweighed risks, and now I've got a little bit of net worth behind me. But I'm still okay with going bankrupt, and I think a lot of people are. Look, if I go bankrupt tomorrow, I don't care.
You can say,
Yeah.
fuck it, I
Fuck
tried.
it, I tried.
Yeah, fuck it, I tried.
You
Yeah.
you just recover. You just-
Exactly,
Exactly.
just
You're
starting
young
out.
enough to figure it out.
And I think a lot of people are really adverse to losing money, one, which obviously you can make outweighed returns or outweighed risks, and just factor in your risk.
For those who don't know what outweighed risks and returns
I said
are, do you know what
dum-dum.
they-
Sorry.
yeah, can you just elaborate on what you mean by outweighed?
Yeah, so look, if you're looking at investment, say you're looking at a 20% return on your money over the next year, look, there might be a 50% chance that just goes to zero over the next year. And depending on which stage of your life that you're at, you've got to really factor that in. It's very easy to go out and find a way to get 8 to 12% return on your money, which is sustainable, and you can do that for the rest of your life, and you will generate wealth that way, no matter what your income is. It's very easy to set yourself up for retirement or actually be able to become a millionaire. Like it sounds really outweighed for a lot of people, like coming from, I've said outweighed a lot.
You
Coming
have.
from our sort
It's
of
a
backgrounds.
self-reflection, eh?
Yeah, coming from our sort of backgrounds where, I mean, we're surrounded by people that haven't seen 10 grand in their bank account in their lifetime. They're in their 40s and 50s. It seems impossible to get to $1 million.
It feels like a lot of that, like 10 grand feels like a lot of money to you. So then like you kind of look at the million and you just push it off to the side. You're like, not for me.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that person over there is a millionaire, but it's just
won't
small
be me.
decisions.
Yeah,
It's small
yeah.
decisions that make such a huge difference to get yourself to that point. And it's the earlier that you can make those sort of decisions, the better
Better
that you
chance you have.
Yeah, the better that you set yourself up. And whether that's through property, whether that's through stocks, whether that's through your own company, there's a million ways you can become a millionaire. And I'm a true advocate that no matter what you do, no matter what you're passionate about, it is possible to be wealthy and to generate wealth, no matter what avenue that you're going down, whether that's a way to generate more money or to get a higher income, even in your passionate field, or whether that's to just invest the sort of money that you've already got coming in. And look, I love to educate people on that and show them how to do it.
If to simplify it though, where would you say to start? For people that think it's scary and haven't seen 10K in their bank account before and just simply don't even know have the skills or don't know where to start, where would you kind of set them off?
S&P 500.
S&P 500 is a great starting point. Look, it's a
Yeah.
great introduction to the market. So for understanding, S&P 500 is just the top 500 by market cap companies in America. And on average, annually, it does about 8% interest and compounded that over
a long time.
Yeah, if you buy it when you're 20 and sell that when you're 70, $100 it turns into a lot of money you can put into a calculator.
There's a calculator somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what the website is, but if you type it, was it compound interest?
Compound interest calculator.
Type that in.
Put your
8%
savings into it. Put
real
it
savings.
to 30 years from now and
Watch it grow.
watch how much that becomes.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, I find the best advice I can give some people is just adding complexity to accessing your money.
So increasing the friction, so that how
Make it
hard
hard.
it is
Yeah,
to take out from savings or investments account.
exactly. So for me, look, I had 40 grand, but I acted like I had $20 in my account.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do when you're young.
That is me when I'm
When you're
saving.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to have your spendings and whatever you need in your account. You've got to really structure it out. It's tough to do and it's tough to
Stick to.
maintain. But if you can put that into a stocks account or even a high interest savings account, it's better than doing nothing and just sitting there in your account and thinking, oh yeah, I've got 10 grand. What's dropping $100 at the pub this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then putting that $100 into either investing.
You think about that $100 as $1,000 10 years from now.
Yeah.
You're thinking, okay, is that not at the
10
pub actually
grand,
worth
yeah.
a grand? Worth a grand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different way to think about it. And for people starting out and people in their 20s, look, I think that's ground one. That's where I'd be starting, is just building up that savings. Like, it's all well and good to say, go earn more money or go do this, but people are earning enough money to start that savings journey most of the time, or they have access to go earn enough money. Like, it's not like people our age are out earning 25 grand a year or stuck in a job that's earning 25 grand a year and their expenses are 25 grand a year.
Yeah.
I think that everyone's got access to something 60K plus.
Yeah.
Whether they want to do that or not, that's their own decision.
Yeah.
But look, with
It's accessible.
Yeah. 60K plus, I would argue, is almost on the higher end.
Yeah.
For majority of people that haven't gone to uni or don't have a qualification, that 60K is actually sitting on a higher end at our age. So because minimum wage is what, $28, and say if you did full-time work at McDonald's or something like that.
if you do $28 an hour,
Yeah.
you do a 40-hour week, that's $1,200 a week. That works out to 67
60K.
grand.
60K.
Yeah.
67 grand.
Yeah,
so if you
no,
do a full
that's
40
very
hours.
accessible.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But like for people our age, like we're saying, like you have the possibility
You
to
have
be
the-
finished
yeah.
with school. You have that time on your hands. Like that is your choice, what you decide to do with those hours and where you decide to get an income from. You are capable of earning 60K a year.
So so what we're saying pretty much is get to work. You know,
Get to work.
if you want to
Get to
start
work.
the savings.
Yeah, and look, people can get access to, get into your first job, get something that's full-time, step up. There's nothing stopping people from going from 60K to 70K to 80K to 90K. A lot of people get comfortable in what they're doing and I mean, I've had these conversations with Riley one-on-one, is how do you get from 60K to 100K to 200K a year? And then how do you even scale whatever you're doing into infinite amounts of money? If you've got the knowledge and the know-how, there's no cap on what you can earn in what you're doing, whether you want to turn it into a business. Look, even education, you can turn that into a business.
No, I have been thinking and looking into a few of those because there's like an app called Teachers Pay Teachers, and you sell basically resources that you've made and people buy them for, you know, like $4 to download like your thing.
Yeah.
And so like, obviously if a lot of people download that, that's a lot of money off a resource that you only had to make once.
Yeah.
And then
it's
it's
just how do you
digital.
market that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So look, that's another rabbit hole to go
whole
down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of how to earn more money and those sort of things. But if you're sitting in a job right now, look, maybe you work FIFO and you're earning 110 grand a year as an intro job. Look, through that first home building, I met so many people that work FIFO. They're in their 40s, had $500 in their account.
Wow.
Yeah, wild.
They were earning 180K a year,
And $500.
$500 in their account. And you'd look at it and you'd look at their income statements.
You
It's
just
like,
scratch your head.
you're just like,
You're like,
What's going on here,
oh,
okay, you got 3 Commodores. Yeah, sick. Yeah, those
you're doing very
Oh,
well for
sick.
yourself, mate. And you get your kids every second weekend. Cool.
Oh, that's a stitch.
That is such a
But look, when you're in these young years, it's so important to take advantage of those years where your outgoings aren't extremely high. You're not dealing with kids. You're not dealing
Dependents
with
and
people who are depending on you, yeah.
exactly. You're not dealing with
you shouldn't
high amounts
have
of
great
rent.
debt. Yeah.
If
It's
you're in
kind of your
debt-
fuck around, find out stage.
Also-
it really is.
To all young people, do not get car finance before you get a home.
Amen.
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 Look, through that first home
Stick
builder.
by that.
So
Stick by
many
that.
people do it.
Yeah.
And it stitches them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, so for car finance, say you get a 30K car loan. All right. So you get a 30K car loan, your borrowing capacity decreases by about 150 grand. So for reference, to get a borrowing capacity of 500K, at the moment, you need to be earning about $100,000. So if you're earning $100,000, you can borrow 500 grand. If you've got a car that's worth 30 grand under finance, your borrowing capacity is now $350,000.
It's crazy.
What
Yeah.
house are you getting in
Depletes
Perth with
it.
$350,000?
Little one by one
Nothing.
crack flat.
Flat,
Little one
yeah,
by one
100%.
crack flat in like Mandurah or something like that.
So maybe let's dive deeper into like your field, first home buying in your 20s.
Yeah. So first time buying, look, it is difficult in the current market. Affordability is very tough. For a lot of people, I just say, get in where you can. Look, if this is a property that you're going to be holding for a long period of time, it's a lot easier to get into second, third, fourth property. In Perth specifically, I think we've still got a lot of growth left to come, and that just comes from a supply and demand metric. We don't have enough houses for how many people want to be living in Australia.
Yeah.
Like, you even look at this house,
Just,
you've got 4
supplies.
people living here.
Yeah. Rooms are full.
Rooms
Yeah.
are full, and it's all throughout WA, and it's the same thing all throughout different suburbs. There's people that want to stretch out from homes, but they've got no access. They're looking at rentals for $700 a week, or
Yeah.
they're looking at getting a mortgage for $700 a week. That's tough for people to maintain, especially if they're earning 60 grand.
Yeah.
That's about 80% of your, well, after tax, it's even more.
Yeah.
After tax, that's even more.
Majority of your income.
Income
Yeah,
going straight
you
towards
can't
housing.
live off of
Yeah.
what's left from that.
Yeah. So look, the only way for property prices to go really is up, just from the sheer demand of people trying to find homes. And look, eventually there will be a point where that balances out, and we will see either some stagnance or some backwards growth in the market. I don't think that's anytime soon for the next 3 to 4 years. I think we've still got enough catalysts, enough supply, enough demand to really facilitate
that
a lot more
growth.
growth. And for people buying their first home, a lot of people do get caught up on, oh, I want the nice finishes, I want these suburbs, I want this size backyard. For your first one, you just need to get in. My first property is a little 2x1, little 2x1 in West
West
Leaderville,
Leaderville.
and I'm able to generate equity in that. So I bought that for low 400s. I'm able to put 20, 30 grand of work into that, into a renovation. Ola's tail just floating through, and he's gonna come up and say
Yeah,
hello.
he'll just chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm able to put 20, 30 grand into that, and then my valuation will be close to 600K.
Yeah.
And that's over the space of 6 months.
Yeah.
Look, for a lot of people, I'm going to be pulling out close to 100 grand out of that. And for a lot of people, you don't earn 100 grand in a year. That if you're able to, thanks, mate.
This is totally going into the edit.
Oh.
Yeah. If you're able
Field
to
day.
make those sort of returns in your first property, it's incredible. It sets you up for
You're
that
sitting
second,
pretty.
third, fourth property.
Yeah.
It leverages your ability to get into things. Look, for first home buyers trying to get into those, for reference, now what you've got is first home owners guarantee. So you're able to get into a property with 5% deposit. So,
So what does that look like?
yep. So for 450K purchase,
Yeah.
5% of that, 22.5 grand. So that's your 5%. And then you've got a stamp duty exemption. So anything under 450K, you don't pay any stamp duty on. So that's basically just a government tax. Anything over that, you do pay stamp duty on. So you're going to be having to be a lot more cash into those properties, which
Yeah.
that threshold should be a lot higher, given where the median sits, close to
Yeah.
800 grand now.
Should definitely push that up.
Yeah, it definitely should be pushed up, but that's a political one.
Yeah.
But look, for a lot of first home buyers, if you can get into, if you've got the borrowing capacity to be able to allow you to get into something sub 500K, it's tough stock, it's tight stock, but that's where I'd be starting for a lot of people. Look, for me, I needed about 32 grand total was what I needed for that first home deposit.
Yeah.
And that got everything done, everything sorted. That was all the conveyances, everything that went along with it.
Yeah.
Title transfers, and it was about 32 grand. So, look, you do need to get that first 32 grand, and you also need that borrowing capacity to go along with it. But once you've got that set up and you're in that position, I would say pull the trigger on that as soon as possible, and you might not be buying.
Ew. You're
And-
nasty.
And look, there's questions on how to optimize those purchases and what to buy and where to buy and when to buy it. But if you've got access and you get in as soon as possible, I would say timing the market beats timing the market. And even if you buy a terrible asset, you're probably going to be better off than someone who doesn't buy for the next 5 years.
Yeah, true. True.
I was going to town on
I
that.
like it's
He's
going to
having
town.
the zoomies.
Yeah. So look, that's where I'll start, and I mean, it is a pretty high threshold entry. So for single applicants, you need to be earning about 100 grand a year.
Yeah.
For dual applicants, for that same borrowing capacity, you need about 120, 125K combined, which is
Yep.
a lot more achievable if you've got a partner
Yeah,
or a
two
spouse.
people, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you have someone that's not a partner or a spouse?
it can be anybody,
Anyone?
anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only consideration for that is you're on a mortgage with that person, that when you then look for the second or third property, you're looked at as having two mortgages. So say
Okay.
I've got a 500K debt with Matia. I want to go buy a property by myself for 700 grand.
Yep.
I've now got a total debt of 1.2 million. It's not considered half of that debt
I
of the
see.
first property. It's considered total debt.
Interesting.
And is that
Yeah.
applicable to spouse and partners, or is that just...
Well, if you're purchasing with spouse or partner, you're
You'd probably
really
just put the
assuming...
next one in
Yeah,
both
so then
names
you've got
as well.
joint
Together,
income.
so
So
it's
together
Yeah.
you've got a debt of 1.2 million.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just
instead of
difficult
one
to
person.
Yeah, it's difficult to separate if you're purchasing with a friend or a partner, unless you are then starting to venture into purchasing within company structures.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So separating that within your personal name, is quite difficult unless you are looking at selling that property within before buying that second property.
Yeah, it's very interesting stuff there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of factors that go into that.
So to summarize for dum-dums,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Get into the property market as soon as you can.
Yep.
You obviously do need to meet the prerequisites such as deposit and borrowing capacity. Couple of key factors to remember there is house before car.
Yep. House before car.
House
every
before
single
car,
time.
hands down.
Yep.
The overall input is above the deposit. Like you said, deposit was 22.5, but you put in 32 and that was everything sort of sorted. So there's
Yeah,
hidden
there's-
fees, right?
Other
Yeah,
things.
well, there's
Not
different
so much
lenders.
hidden fees, but
Yeah.
like there's other stuff to pay.
You need to
So you
consider
can't
other-
just go in with your 22.5 and be like, I am ready to own a
Significant-
house.
there is
Yeah,
more
you need
costs
that.
involved.
Yeah.
I think once you get to that threshold of even getting to about 15K or 20K in your savings, I think it's worth going and speaking with a mortgage broker, because if you speak with one that especially specialises in first home buyers, a lot of them will work with you to put into a savings plan or put you in a target.
Get you where you need to be.
Yeah, they give you that breakdown of, okay, you're at 22 grand in savings. You need another 8 for this lender. You need another 10 for this lender. Different lenders have different policies and different fees that come along with it.
Yeah.
And
that's what your mortgage broker will kind of lay out for you. So
exactly. They'll be able to lay that out.
Yeah, they'll be able to lay it out, put a plan
that's good
together.
advice.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's really good advice.
So once you hit that 15, 20 mark in your early 20s, go and speak to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, get that ball rolling.
So I think in your early 20s, step one is save. Save your money, act like you're broke,
Yeah.
because you probably are.
Yeah, you probably are.
Until you've got a few $100,000 sitting in your account and you can look at it and be like, okay, I could just not work for the next 2 years. You're broke.
Yeah.
So act like you're broke. Don't go out spending your money willy-nilly. And get yourself to a point where you've got 15 to 20K savings. However you need to do that, then I would start looking at how can I make this money make me money. Once you've got that 15, 20 grand, I think that's when it's really worth educating yourself on property, educating yourself on stocks, educating yourself on whatever it needs to be, PooCoin, crypto. Yep.
So I genuinely have a question then. When I get to 15K, right, do I go stocks or do I go house? Or is that kind of just a personal decision?
Yep. So what I would do is, look, if your objective is to get into your first home,
Yes.
I would go chat to a mortgage broker and say, how much do I need to get this little nest egg to? How much do I need to get my borrowing capacity to? How long do I need in my job to get to that property? If they're going to say you need to get to 30 grand,
Yeah.
say you need another 15 grand,
Yeah.
I would then allocate that property in stocks
Yeah.
and do a little bit of research on that. If you can't be bothered doing the research, just go S&P 500 safe, or even ASX 200, which is top 200 Australian stocks.
Cool.
Look, it's just diversified, safe. Put into something safe that's going to get you 7 to 8% return.
Yeah.
And actually use that money to make you money, because even 15 grand, you think about that, say for easy numbers' sake, you get 10% returns on that. Give it a year, you've just made $1,500 on that money that you've got there.
That's just sitting there.
That's
Yeah.
just sitting there.
Yeah.
Yep. So, look, as soon as you get yourself to that 10, 15K, I'd be starting to think, what can I do with this money? Instead of just sitting in your bank account, which a lot of people do, and then eventually get to a point where they're like, oh, okay, I could do this to my car, I could do these modifications, I can do all this, and start to spend that money because it's sitting there in an account. Start thinking about how I can maximize this money's potential.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maximize how you get the money back,
Yeah.
make it more money.
Yeah.
I do have
Yeah.
a follow-up question with what you should do first once you have those savings and buying a home. What if you're in the stage of life where you are looking to have a kid and your priorities lie a little bit differently than making money?
Not to us.
You're looking at building a home, building a family, and that's making things a little bit tougher, financially a bit stressful, because making money isn't the first thing on your mind, because you do want to make a family. And I think that's very necessary for a lot of people.
To be considered, yeah,
So
absolutely.
what would you say to them?
100%. And that's a lot of people that I deal with is home buyers is what I deal
Home
with.
buyers,
It
yeah.
becomes a lot more of a personal decision and
Yeah.
an emotional decision rather than strictly
Financial.
how can I maximize the return on this money?
Yeah.
It's no longer that question. It's okay, where can
Where
I
are
be
we comfortable?
Yeah. Where can I be? She's onto it.
Where can I be comfortable?
Yeah. Where can I be comfortable for the next 10, 15,
Seriously,
20 years?
Lachlan, sign me up. I know what's up. I get it.
No, no assistant. No.
For peanuts, mate.
Peanuts. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you
Throw me a
20K,
bone in the corner.
Yeah. I'll buy you lunch once a week.
It's more than we
Once a
got growing
week.
up.
But yeah, look, there's a lot of different considerations that come into that. Look, I've worked with a lot of first home buyers that their situation is they're going to be living in the home. They want it to be somewhere that they're comfortable for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
They don't want to be doing the whole jump around, buy different properties, leverage
Yeah.
this, get into this. They just want somewhere where they can see themselves growing into. And look, I'm always looking at it from an analytical perspective of maybe don't touch those shiny brand new homes out in Ellenbrook or something like that.
It's the autism. The analytical standpoint. It's the
Throw that in
tism.
there.
He told everyone that I shit my pants.
Throw
Yeah,
him on the
okay.
bus, yeah.
Minor autism.
Tism.
Yeah, but look, it does become a lot more of an emotional decision at those points, and things like demographics, school zones, those sort of things, start to become a real consideration if you're dealing with a young family versus a young professional couple, or someone that's just trying to start out their property journey. It's a lot of different factors that come into that. Obviously, you do want to be maximising the return on those properties, but maybe that's not the primary focus. It's, okay, does this floor plan work for us? Or does this home work for us? Or what's the plan 10 years from now if we can then eventually upgrade to a home once we've got two little Timmies?
Yeah, two little kids.
A Timmy and a Tammy.
Yeah, exactly. So you look at even Blake in his situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example. They've got a little, I think it's a 3x1, 2x1, 2x1, 3x1. It's a little duplex half. They've got one daughter. That space is starting to become a little bit small for them. Now it's a question of, okay, how can we get from this property to the next property that we want to be in? How can we get that home that feels like a family home, a place that we can call home?
Yeah, a little bit bigger, you know?
Yeah, and for him it's a very different situation where they've got that dual income. They can then turn that original property into an investment property, and then they've still got to get to a pretty extraordinary income level to facilitate a purchase of about 1.1 to get the sort of home that they're after. And that's a situation that they're in. Look, it's very different to my sort of situation is I could be living in a shitbox. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less.
With that 6-month mindset of turning around and getting 100K out of it. Yeah.
Exactly. That's my primary objective. But for someone like Blake,
there's different
it's
parts.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
It's where can I see my daughter? Where can I see my partner being happy in? Where can I see us growing in? What's that vision look like? Little Timmy and Tammy running around in the backyard. Playing on the jungle gym in the backyard. And jumping on a trampoline that Santa brought them.
Box out the back.
Yeah. Inside joke. Yeah.
Inside joke. It definitely would be a lot different for them because their priorities do lie a little bit differently.
Yeah, and look, that's a lot of what I do is just really understanding people's situations. Look, I mean, my situation is going to be different to your situation, or it's going to be different to Blake's situation. Everyone's situation is very different, and property means something different for every single person.
For sure.
Whether that's a home or an investment or even just something that can set you up for the next 20 years, there's so many different factors that come into it. And even your lifestyle, if you're close to the city, close to work, those sort of factors, it all plays a role in that decision process of what that perfect home looks like for you.
Do you ever get like butthurt or offended? Like if you're like, this is the perfect property for you, and they turn around and they're like, no, we don't want it. Does that ever happen?
I don't think it's happened yet. No. I think I ask enough questions, and
it's also a hungry market. Like I feel like a lot of people, when you come to them and say like, this is a good choice, I feel like people are also kind of in the position where like, okay, we have to jump on this, otherwise like we gonna lose it.
Yeah, well that's what we do is a lot of people are in that situation where they are in a rush or they feel pressured to just buy something. A lot of what I do is just showing people enough options that they can make an educated decision. And
still feel like they have a say.
Yeah, so you're not just buying that first property or putting an offer on a property just for the sake of it because it would do, I guess.
Yeah.
You're able to still, for home buyers especially, you're able to still dictate the pace and dictate the sort of features that you want in a property and find that perfect home because we're able to access properties off market, pre-market, on market, how we need to go about it to show you everything that's out there within that price point.
Yeah.
Look, obviously you get some people that just want brand spanking new right on the beachfront, but they've got 600K to spend.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, but
just
you've got to be realistic in that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's where you specialise in. You're able to find a home that is in your client's best interest.
Yeah, and that's why, look, some of my clients, I've bought for clients that quickest turnaround I've had was client sent through an inquiry on a Thursday, met with them on a Friday, took them through a property on Saturday, contract under offer on Sunday.
Wow.
Nice.
4 days. Well, not even 3 days.
3 days. I met them 6 p.m. in the afternoon, had it under offer at 12 p.m. on the Sunday. Yeah.
I actually did have one more question. So in your company, do you guys ever find yourself sharing clients then? Because you were saying that you're obviously like centered to those
area
in there.
specialization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if like they eventually find, you know, let's say they've done their own research at home and find this property and they're like, we actually really want to go check this one out. Do you just have to handball them over to whoever's property area that is?
We work very collaboratively.
Yeah,
in the
got ya.
office. So look, with my clients, you're in Scarborough Doubleview, you're not adverse to going a little bit further north, getting a little bit more value or a little bit more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So going to Duncraig, Marmion, Sorrento, North Beach, you get a lot of crossover, and we've got a lady, Lana Smith, who specialises in that area.
Yep.
So we cross over a lot, and we work really collaboratively. That I don't know the first thing about Duncraig and Duncraig price points, and I just ask her whatever I need, and we work really closely with the clients. We put them in a group chat together if that's the sort of crossover that's going to be.
So she kind of gives you the answers, but they still remain as your clients?
Yeah. We
Okay,
just work
got ya,
together.
got ya.
If from the jump I meet with someone and they've got 1.4 to spend, but want a full-size block, maybe a bit of a reno job, they want a 4x2, then I'm going to say, okay, you're probably best suited to either going east to Stirling or you're going north to Duncraig.
Yeah,
And
got
if they
ya.
say they want to go north to Duncraig, I'll give Lana a call.
Yeah.
These
got
clients
someone.
are for you.
Yeah.
That's
Look,
really good.
Vice versa? Like,
Vice
do you,
versa,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So
And
you
it
would
happens
get the
both
same
ways.
in from everyone else as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was wondering that from the start. As soon as you said that you have that area and that's like kind of what you do, I was like, what happens if there's a
Yeah, well,
a
it's just working in
switch?
the best
Yeah.
interest of the client. And for me, going and buying in Duncraig or one of those areas, yes, I know the agents, but I'm just another buyer. Whereas Lana's bought 10 to 15 properties off of the top agents there. It's a very different conversation that she's
Yeah.
having with them. And it
Yeah.
goes the same way when I'm buying in Scarborough Doubleview.
Yeah.
So,
It
yeah.
you have
absolutely
those
absolutely makes
relationships.
sense. It does.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
I think it's a good way to kind of wrap that up.
Yeah.
Ale will finish this up with it.
Bark?
Ali, say hello. Say hello.
Oh, shit.
Alright, that's enough, Ale. Well, we'll probably wrap it up there, Boston. Is there any kind of last remarks that you kind of want to put out there? I'm sure you'll be on another episode sometime. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, bostoncable.verb.
Oh, self
Big
promo.
shout out, yeah.
Yep.
Shout out
Self
to him.
promo.
Yeah, if you are looking to buy, you need a buyer's agent, he's your man.
Yeah, look,
Especially-
anyone that's looking to get into the property market or just a little bit unsure about what's going on in the market or wants some more specific advice, look, even if it's not in Scarborough Doubleview, I can
You can still
point you
reach
in
out.
the right directions.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we just concluded that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good
That
stuff.
was a good. That
Alright.
was yeah.
Well, thanks, boss.
Beautiful.
Thanks for listening. Peace.
Peace and love.